She won 10 million. Kick me out. But you'll never guess who the ticket was for. The news hit like a lightning bolt, crackling with disbelief and heavy with gossip. Mia Thompson, a regular at the corner diner, the one with the messy bun and grease-stained apron, pulled in a jaw-dropping 10 million in the state lottery. A small-town fairy tale that had everyone buzzing. But here's the kicker. She kicked Paul, her boyfriend of 3 years, out on the spot. He never saw it coming. The townsfolk gossiped in wide-eyed clusters, sharing snippets and wild ideas about what happened in the house that fateful night. Just last week, she was scrubbing plates and dreaming of a better life. Now, she had a ticket worth more than a small fortune, and the way she grinned when she held it up brightened the entire room. Strangers speculated, wondering if the ticket was a prank, a dirty scheme, or just plain luck. But no one knew. No one could even guess what led Mia to make such a sudden, drastic choice. Rumors ran rampant as people gathered at the diner over coffee and cakes, their faces lit with excitement and a bit of fear. Was Mia even who she claimed to be? Some whispered she'd come to town with a secret, maybe a dark one, tied to that magical slip of paper. That night, the lights outside her house flickered, casting strange shadows that danced like questions hanging in the air. What was she planning? Who was truly going to benefit from this windfall? A sudden murmur broke through a hushed conversation. Did you see the way she looked at Paul before she kicked him out? A voice quivered, like she'd drawn a line, and he was barely on the other side. Everyone leaned in closer, heartbeats matching the tension in the air. Suspense thickened, pooling in the corners of the room. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button. It really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. Just as the chatter reached a fever pitch, the door swung open. The crowd turned. Mia stood there, a silhouette against the fluorescent light. Only this time, she was different. Her eyes glimmered with something unnameable, almost menacing. She looked around, and when she spotted Paul at the counter, her expression hardened. No one breathed. She approached him, and for a moment, it felt like time stood still. What would she say? What would happen next? And why was she holding a second ticket, a ticket he had never seen? The room waited with bated breath, the tension thick enough to cut. How could a simple lottery win lead to this storm of drama? What had really changed? The answers loomed, just out of reach. Mia stepped closer, her heels clicking sharply against the diner's worn tiles. The chatter sank to a whisper, eyes darting from her to Paul, whose expression shifted from confusion to worry. He looked up, the color draining from his face as he caught sight of the second ticket clutched tightly in her hand. Why do you have that? He stammered, the words barely escaping his lips. The room buzzed with anticipation. Mia, what is going on? A cruel smile played on her lips, and she leaned in, her voice low but fierce. Because I have a plan, Paul. And you're not a part of it anymore. Her eyes glinted under the harsh diner lights, a spark that sent shivers through everyone watching. Gasps filled the air, some muffled by hands over mouths. It felt like the very air in the diner had thickened, pressing down on everyone as they leaned in for every word, desperate to peel back the layers of this unfolding saga. What plan? What do you mean? Paul's voice cracked, panic creeping in. He reached a shaky hand toward her, but she recoiled, as if he were toxic. Mia glanced back at the diners, her heart racing with a mix of triumph and fury. You know, I thought you'd support me, be proud of my win. But all you ever cared about was your own comfort, your little life in this sleepy town. I can't hold you back any longer. The crowd appeared transfixed, absorbing the drama as it unfolded like a live-action soap opera. Women leaned forward, clutching their coffee cups, while men gritted their teeth, each pulling the threads of Mia's true motivations from the air. It was the kind of moment that could change everything, a young woman discovering her worth in the harsh light of fortune. What will you do with it? Paul blurted, desperation flickering in his eyes as he tried to reel her back. The ticket was an anchor, not just to her newfound wealth, but to the person she had realized she could become. Mia straightened, confidence flooding over her. Invest. Travel. And yes, maybe even she hesitated, letting it hang in the air like a ripe fruit ready to fall. I'll give it away. To someone who needs it more than you ever did. The tension shot through the room like electric fire. Whispers ignited again, spiraling with each revelation. Who would she give it to? What secrets lay behind the numbers on the ticket? Before Paul could retort, Mia's expression shifted. It was no longer anger. It was determination. And this ticket? It was never just for me, it's for someone who truly understands what it means to struggle. Then, with a swiftness that shocked the crowd even more, she spun on her heel and marched toward the door. I'll be seeing someone soon. You're welcome to stay and watch, she said over her shoulder, leaving the crowd in stunned silence. The door swung shut behind her with a thud that echoed through the diner. Uncertainty hung thick as everyone exchanged anxious glances, questions racing through their minds. Who was this mysterious person Mia intended to meet? And what would happen next in her quest to redefine herself? Just as the murmurs began to rise again, a sudden crashing sound echoed from outside, making everyone jump. The diner was about to see the next twist in the saga unravel. The night wasn't done revealing its secrets, and neither was Mia. What if this change came with unforeseen dangers that would challenge everything she believed? The diner erupted into chaos, forks clattering onto plates, coffee cups trembling in their saucers. A look of shock painted every face as the door creaked open again, revealing Mia standing in the entrance. She looked breathless, her previous swagger replaced by startled vulnerability. The crash outside was forgotten. All eyes turned to her, seeking clarity amid the confusion. Mia? Paul's voice broke through the din, thick with concern. What just happened? Tension flared back to life as she took a few shaky steps inside, her gaze searching the crowd, but it was Paul she focused on. I'm sorry, she began, her tone shifting, unraveling from the fierce determination everyone had just witnessed. I didn't mean to cause. A loud thud cut her off. The crowd gasped again, this time out of fear, as a figure emerged from the shadows just outside. He was tall, dressed in a dark jacket, face half hidden beneath the brim of a black cap. The way he moved was unsettling, like a predator stalking its prey. Is that him? Whispered an older woman at the counter, barely holding onto her coffee. Who is he? Mia's heart raced, her confident facade crumbling once more as she locked eyes with the stranger. She hadn't even known he'd been following her. What do you want? She demanded, her voice wavering. The stranger stepped closer, hands shoved deep into his pockets as he surveyed the onlookers with a cool, indifferent air. Just looking for a girl who got a winning ticket, he replied, his voice low and gravelly, draping over the murmurs like a sinister fog. Someone who made a big mistake by not sharing the wealth. The words landed heavily in the diner. Gasps erupted again, eyebrows furrowing in suspicion. Paul stepped forward, protectively positioning himself between Mia and the approaching darkness. Stay away from her, he warned, his voice trying to sound steady, but trembling with a familiar desperation. Oh, you're still around? The stranger smirked, his eyes narrowing on Paul. Good. You can watch how this plays out. I'd hate for you to miss your chance at an encore. Mia felt a knot tighten in her gut. She had no idea who this man was, but his presence screamed danger. I don't want any trouble, she said, her voice shaky, eyes darting around for escape. The diner was no longer comfortable, but a cage, each face warped with fear and curiosity. The tension reached a boiling point. Let us make a deal, the mysterious man suggested, his voice lowering conspiratorially. You give me that ticket, and I'll make sure you're taken care of. Everyone wins, right? You can keep the high and mighty act, but don't get too lost in it. Mia's heart raced. What do you know about the ticket? She shot back defiantly, anger surging through her, drowning out fear momentarily. More than you think, he replied, stepping even closer, invading her space. The truth, Mia, is that winning doesn't come without a price. Just then, the lights flickered violently, shadows dancing across the diner's walls. The murmurs turned into a collective gasp as the stranger drew nearer. Sweat trickled down Mia's back. Every instinct screamed to flee, but she stood her ground. I'd never give it to you. At that moment, a loud crash resounded, echoing through the area as the front window shattered. The crowd spun in unison, gasping at the sight of what lay outside, a figure lying face down. With her heart pounding like a war drum, Mia turned back to the stranger. "What did you do?" she whispered, the weight of her dawning realization heavy in the air. His grin widened, a chilling smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. "You haven't seen anything yet," as tension crackled like a live wire. Mia realized that the night held secrets darker than she could imagine. Just as she felt her legs shaking beneath her, the stranger leaned closer, whispering, "Are you ready to pay the price for your fortune?" What lay ahead would test everything she thought she knew. The stranger's menacing grin sent a shiver down Mia's spine. She glanced at Paul, who wore a mask of determination, fist clenched at his side, ready to defend her against whatever nightmare was unfolding. Outside, the figure lay still, a lifeless shape, a dark omen of what awaited them if they didn't act fast. The diner's patrons edged closer together, whispering urgent speculations, glancing between the shattered glass and the towering intruder like a volley between two alleys in a back alley brawl. "Did you hurt him?" Mia dared to ask, a tremor in her voice. The stranger shrugged casually, but amusement glimmered in his eyes. "He might be unconscious, or he might be dead. It doesn't matter to me." He stepped even closer, invading not just her space but her psyche, refusing to let her retreat. "What matters is you holding onto that ticket. I can help you, but it'll cost you." "Help?" Mia scoffed, the fire inside her starting to flicker against the onset of terror. "You call this help? We both know you'll never escape this ticket's weight alone. The city's crawling with people like me hungry for a piece of the action you've been given. Do you think I'm the worst?" "Get away from her," Paul shouted again, stepping forward, his frame growing larger beneath the dim lights. "Oh, I'll let you enjoy your little fantasy of playing the hero," the stranger scoffed. "But don't be so naive. You fight me, and you lose." The thrill in his voice sent Mia's instincts into overdrive. Clarity broke through the fog of shock. She needed to protect Paul, to end this charade that was tightening around them like a noose. Just then, sirens pierced the air, loud, shrill, a clarion call of authority. The stranger's confident demeanor faltered for a brief second, his eyes darting toward the door. A flicker of panic? It vanished quickly as he turned back to Mia. "Considering the atmosphere, you have a choice." He leaned in, his breath hot against her ear, a twisted smirk carving a path across his face. "You can take my offer or stand with your knight in shining armor and see just how dark this night can get." A thick silence hung in the air as the patrons fell mute, entranced by the dangerous negotiation unfolding before their eyes. Mia could feel the heat radiate off both men, Paul's helpless fury and the stranger's insidious calm. "Mia," Paul urged, hoping beyond hope that she wouldn't make a mistake. "Don't listen to him." In that moment, the choice hung heavy in the air, each second stretched taut like a wire. Her heart raced, fueled by the thrill of uncertainty. A million thoughts raced through her mind. Her family, her friends, the tickets she could change lives with. Hadn't she always believed that this one would rescue her from the muck of her past? Or was this supposed fortune about to drag her deeper into darkness? The sirens grew louder, and police lights began to flash moments before the door swung wide. Two officers entered, guns drawn, scanning the room for the source of the chaos. "Everyone stay calm," one officer barked. "What is going on here?" Mia's breath caught in her throat. The stranger smirked again and said, "Well, look who we have here. Let us see you wiggle out of this one, Mia." With one look shared between Paul and Mia, urgency eclipsed doubt. Would they face the darkness together, or would this be the end of their newfound courage? The night was far from over. Mia's hand gripped the ticket in her pocket, heavier now. What kind of game was she playing? And as their eyes locked once more, she knew she had a decision to make. But would it be the right one? A storm was brewing, and the worst was yet to come. The loud crash of the door sent a ripple of panic through the diner. Officers flooded in, bringing a sense of order that felt fragile and temporary. The two menacing figures, Paul and the stranger, stood in stark contrast to the uniformed authority entering the scene. "Everyone stay calm," the officer shouted, eyes sweeping over the room like a hawk. The sirens outside didn't seem to fade, echoing in the background as tensions escalated. "What happened here?" another officer demanded. pointing his flashlight at the still form on the floor by the window, his face a mask of concern mixed with skepticism. Mia's heart raced. The truth felt like a live wire in her throat, threatening to choke her. Would she reveal the danger they were in or protect Paul from the fallout of the stranger's taunts? The seconds stretched into an eternity as she weighed her options. He attacked us, Paul blurted out, glancing nervously from the officers to the stranger, who seemed unfazed. The smirk never left the stranger's face. It was a grotesque mask of confidence. Interesting choice of words from your friend, Mia. I suggest you consider my offer before the night gets any messier. Mia turned sharply to Paul, searching his eyes for guidance. What do we do? She whispered, her voice cracked, barely audible over the commotion. Stick to the plan. We can't let him control this, Paul warned, eyes blazing. The officers closed in. You. Step back. One officer shouted at the stranger, who raised his hands in mock surrender but kept his eyes fixed on Mia. This is a simple misunderstanding, he said, charm dripping like honey from his lips. What if I told you, officers, that Mia holds the key to a fortune? His voice dropped low, laced with menace. And that some people are determined to take it from her? The air thickened with the weight of his words. The patrons held their breath, each one gripped by the gravity of the situation. What kind of fortune? One officer asked, his tone skeptical, but intrigued. She's got a ticket, the stranger answered, tilting his head toward Mia. A winning ticket. But trust me, the city has eyes everywhere. You can't protect her forever. Mia felt the vessel of her life shatter. Was it true? Could that ticket bring them nothing but ruin? She clutched it instinctively, its presence a glaring reminder of what it could cost. Take your hands off her, Paul snapped, stepping protectively in front of Mia. The tension climbed, a cloud ready to burst. The officers exchanged uneasy glances, caught between their instinct to defuse the situation and the palpable threat that hung over the diner. Ma'am, do you need protection from him? One officer turned to Mia, sincerity etched on his face. You don't understand. She gasped, grief and fear tightening her chest. I can help you. But first, you need to let him go, the stranger interrupted, leaning dangerously into her space. You know that. The moment they take me down is when your problems multiply. Mia felt lost, suspended between loyalty and survival. Could she trust Paul, or did she need to betray him for a chance at freedom? The stranger's intensity was suffocating, yet thrilling. Mia, understand this. Fortune comes at a price. Just like the real world. What do you want more? Love or power? Everything around her shifted, the sirens now a distant hum as she stared into the stranger's eyes, fiery and persuasive. I can give you what he can't, he whispered intensely. But I promise, once you take my hand, there will be no turning back. Mia's pulse raced. The choice was hers, but time was running out. With the officers unsure and tensions razor thin, she felt the storm close in. She looked between Paul and the stranger, torn. What awaited her on the other side? As new sirens echoed in the distance, the air thick with anticipation and dread, Mia knew this was just the beginning of her unraveling tale. The diner felt like a pressure cooker, every person inside teetering on the brink of chaos. Mia could feel the heat of the stranger's gaze as he held his ground, completely unconcerned by the officers now crowding the space. Her breaths came quick and shallow, each inhale infused with regret and uncertainty. Just tell them it's not worth it, Paul urged, clenching his fists. His voice was low, laced with a pleading desperation that only made her heartbeat race faster. Mia blinked back tears, her breath hitching. What was she supposed to say? The truth felt like a lead weight, dragging her down while the walls of the diner seemed to close in on her. She could feel the skepticism rising in the officers' eyes. Would they believe her if she spoke? Or would her silence ignite their suspicion? Getting a little tense here, the stranger cooed, his smirk widening as he leaned back against the counter. Do you think they'll protect you from me? The world isn't so black and white, Mia. But it was the glint in his eyes like a predator that had cornered its prey that sent a chill down her spine. In that moment, she realized that the power he spoke of wasn't just about money. It was about control, about twisting the truth until it bore no resemblance to reality. Mia, please, Paul urged again, his voice breaking. She took a deep breath, looking to the officers, their faces a mix of determination and doubt. I can't. You don't understand what he's involved in, she finally stammered. If you take him out, more will come. It's not just him. One of the officers, an older man with deep-set eyes, stepped closer. What do you mean, more will come? He asked, a calm urgency in his tone. The stranger chuckled, an unsettling sound. Oh, this is getting good. You really want to know what's at stake here? He shifted his weight, his confidence palpable. Tell them, Mia. They deserve to hear how deep this rabbit hole goes. Mia swallowed hard, her throat tight. The ticket, it's bigger than you think. There are people watching. People who would do anything to get it back. Multiple heads turned in her direction, and the tension thickened, suffocating. What are you saying? The younger officer pressed, his finger poised over his handcuffs. Are you in danger? I'm saying I can't protect you, the stranger interjected, his dirty smile now a tainted invitation. But I could give you something Paul can't. Mia's heart raced, fear coursing through her veins. A life beyond the diner, beyond this moment, spun like a nebulous star in her mind. Was the stranger's promise sincere, or just another trap? What is your offer? Paul demanded, stepping forward defensively. You think I'd let you take her? I think you're not in the position to negotiate, the stranger retorted, his voice cool and collected. It's your choice, Mia. Stay wrapped in this bubble of protection, or take a risk for something that could change your life. The diner buzzed with anticipation, eyes flicking between the three of them. The air crackled with electric tension, a dangerous dance of decisions. In that moment, Mia felt time unravel. She could flip the script and take control. If I choose you, what is the catch? She asked, her own voice steadying as conviction filled the void of her uncertainty. Just one tiny thing, he replied, leaning closer, his breath warm against her skin. You have to break free of the past. Leave everything behind. Eyes wide, Mia's heart thundered in her chest. The choice churned in her gut, a tempest of emotions and brittle realizations. Could she really walk away? As her mind swirled in chaos, the door suddenly crashed open again. Another figure burst in, silhouetted against the flashing lights outside. Mia, they shouted, voice desperate. Panic gripped her once more. Who was this new arrival, and what did they want? With one foot tiptoeing toward an uncertain future and the other rooted in her past, Mia felt the stakes climb higher. The air was thick with potential disaster, and change loomed closer than ever. Where would it all lead? Mia's mind raced as the newcomer stumbled into the diner, breathless and frantic. The voice she recognized instantly cut through the charged atmosphere like a knife. Mia, you have to get out of here. It was Jenna, her best friend, and the look on her face twisted Mia's stomach into knots. What are you doing here? Mia stammered, uncertainty mingling with fear. Did Jenna even know about the stranger? Did you really think you could choose that creep over your life? Jenna shouted, defiance dripping from her words as she gestured toward the stranger, whose smirk had vanished, replaced by a cold fury. Stay out of this. The stranger snapped, his eyes narrowing. For a moment, Mia saw the mask slip. The calm exterior shattered in the face of a true threat. Jenna, it's not what you think. Mia pleaded, her heart hammered in her chest. The stakes were impossibly high. He can help me. There's more to this. More to what? Putting yourself in danger? Jenna scoffed, but her voice trembled as the realization hit her. You don't really trust him, do you? Mia, listen to me. I found something important. We need to talk about it. Away from she hesitated, shooting a glance at the stranger him. The tension in the diner thickened like fog, wrapping around Mia like chains. The officers, caught in this web of confrontation, glanced back and forth, their resolve wavering. Listen, the older officer said, his eyes shooting back to Jenna. We need to keep the situation under control. If what you found is dangerous. The stranger interrupted with a quick laugh. What you're seeing is just the tip of the iceberg. They have no idea. He stepped forward, his arrogance a blatant challenge against the officers and a direct threat to Mia. Before Mia could respond, her world tilted. Jenna's words poured out, urgency fueling them. Mia, you can't trust him. Remember the guy from last week? The one who know. Mia cut her off, panic rising. Last week didn't he matter? It was this moment, right here, that could either bind her fate to the stranger or free her from the shadows of her past. You don't understand what I'm dealing with. Then let us help you. Jenna cried, desperation mingling with fear. You don't have to do this alone. Mia felt a flicker of hope. Could she really step away from the edge? A sharp clap echoed as the stranger slammed his hand down on the counter, drawing everyone's attention. Time is running out. Mia, he warned, voice smooth but dark. You have people waiting. This is your chance at freedom. Let go of everything you think you have. You think you can manipulate her just like that? Paul challenged, stepping closer as he shielded Mia. Don't you dare think for a second that she is going to walk into your trap. Mia's heart was a storm now. Torn between the pull of safety and the allure of a different life, she grappled with her choices. Make your decision, Mia, the stranger said, voice low and dangerous. Or I will make it for you. Before she could respond, the diner door burst open again, and another figure rushed inside. This one was familiar but mixed in with a sense of dread as the person's eyes quickly scanned the room. Mia, the newcomer shouted, his voice like a bell tolling in a graveyard. Get out. Now. Her breath caught in her throat. Two people desperately trying to save her from two separate fates. But what did either side truly hold for her? And just as the walls closed in, she felt a flicker of clarity. What was it that she truly wanted? As the new arrival stepped closer, revealing a face she hadn't seen in years, Mia realized this moment could shatter everything, leaving all she knew behind or drowning in a brewing storm. Which would she choose when faced with the haunting specter of her past? Time was slipping away, and the choices were about to collide. Questions laced with urgency hung in the air. Who could truly be trusted? And what was the price of the truth? Mia's heart raced as the newcomer stepped into the light, revealing a face that flooded her with memories. Alex, her brother. A mix of warmth and dread tugged at her chest. It had been years since they had shared a moment, but the urgency in his voice sliced through the chaos around them. Mia, please, he pleaded, his eyes darting from Jenna to the stranger. You have to listen to me. They're coming for you. Who is coming? Mia asked, her voice barely a whisper. The uncertainty hung thick in the air like a storm cloud, and the walls of the diner felt as though they were closing in. We don't have time for this, the stranger said, his tone sharp and cutting. He moved closer, a predator sensing its prey. You can't let him get to you, Mia. He is not here to help. He is here to confuse you. Stop, Jenna shouted, stepping forward, her voice trembling but fierce. Mia, don't let him manipulate you. You know us. You know your brother. You know the truth. The tension snapped like a rubber band, leaving a silence that pulsed with fear and disbelief. Mia felt like she was standing at a crossroads, each path leading to destruction. She could feel the weight of the choice pressing down on her. Every second that ticked by felt like a ticking bomb. Alex, what is going on? Mia finally managed to say. What do you mean they're coming for me? He took a breath, his eyes filled with urgency and panic. I found something. I overheard a conversation. People who know you. People who don't want you to know the truth about your past. They think you're involved in something you don't even realize. The stranger scoffed, his arrogance returning like a shadow creeping back into the light. And you believe that? He is filling your head with lies. You're safe with me, Mia. Together, we can get away from this, from all of them. Jenna shook her head, frustration flooding her features. No, Mia, you can't trust him. Don't you see? This is about more than just you. It's about everything you've fought to escape. You could lose it all again. Don't let him take you away from us. Mia felt her world splinter. At that moment, the faces of her past collided with her present. Chained to the diner booth, she felt trapped between truth and deceit, longing and fear. Every word held a weight she couldn't bear anymore. Time is running out, Mia, the stranger repeated, his chilling voice cutting through the clamor. Think quickly. I have what you need, the tools to escape this life forever. Another thud sounded from the door, and Mia's heart dropped. She barely had time to process the dread that crept over her shoulder before the door swung open again, this time revealing three heavily armed men, their eyes scanning the diner like hawks searching for prey. Get down, Alex shouted, grabbing Mia's hand and pulling her aside. The moment shattered. Shards of clarity pierced through the haze. Forced to act, Mia looked between her brother and the stranger. Get out now, she yelled, adrenaline surging. All of you now? Jenna grabbed Mia's arm, but the stranger held his ground, a wicked grin spreading across his face. Make your choice, Mia, he said, his voice wrapping around her like a noose. Join me or run with them. But you can't have both. With the roar of chaos rising, Mia's world spun. The choice was laid bare, and the cost lurked in every decision. What if running meant uncovering a truth that would destroy her? And what if staying sealed her fate forever? The weight of her choice crashed down on her like thunder. What would she sacrifice to find out who she really was? The sudden surge of adrenaline fueled Mia's instincts. She could feel the eyes of the armed men slicing through the air like poisoned daggers. They were moving fast, ready to pounce. Sweeping her eyes over Alex and Jenna, she weighed their familiarity against the stranger's cold composure. "Go!" she screamed again, her voice sharp enough to cut through the fear wrapping around them. Alex pulled at her, desperation etched in his features. "Mia, if you come with me, we have a chance." "Don't listen to him," the stranger snapped, stepping forward, brimming with false authority. "He is playing you, Mia. If you leave now, they'll find you for sure. Stay, and I can protect you." A low rumble of gunfire erupted outside. The men shouted, their boots thudding against the diner floor as they barreled inside. Mia's heart pounded harder, a wild drum signaling her rising terror. She knew time was slipping away, and she had to choose. "Stay or run," she murmured, the weight of the decision heavy in her chest, each option steeped in the kind of danger she had never imagined. "What do I do?" The stranger shifted closer, his voice a silky whisper. "Once you know the truth, there's no going back. Are you ready for that?" But before she could answer, a piercing scream sliced through the moment. One of the armed men had grabbed a waitress, her face twisted in horror. Sweat trickled down Mia's back. This wasn't tea, just her life hanging in the balance. The stakes multiplied. "Stop. Let her go." Alex's voice boomed, a stark contrast to the chaos swarming around them. He reached out, an instinctual protector, his eyes bright with determination. But the stranger's grip on Mia tightened. "They'll kill you, all of you." He grinned, a predator who reveled in the chaos. "They have no mercy." Sweat dripped into Mia's eyes, blurring her vision as she took a step back, shaking Alex's hand loose for a split second. Her instincts kicked in. She couldn't let fear dictate her choices anymore. "Jenna, go!" Mia yelled urgently, making a split-second decision. "Get out the back." Without waiting, Jenna bolted for the kitchen entrance, her heart racing. The stranger's attention faltered, tracking Jenna's movement. "Don't!" he shouted, but it was too late. Mia seized the moment. She gripped Alex's arm, no longer torn. "We're leaving. Now." Fighting through the din, they started for the exit. But as they pushed through the door, the tension snapped. The sound of gunfire shattered the air again, bullets ricocheting off the walls, splintering wood and glass around them. "Get down," Alex yelled, pulling Mia protectively to the ground. They scrambled behind an old delivery truck parked on the roadside, breathless, gasping for what little air remained beneath the weight of pressure, but there was no time to recover. The din inside the diner became a cacophony, punctuated by shouts. The urgency pressed in like a vice. Staring into Alex's eyes, turmoil swirled. Questions raced through her mind with alarming clarity. "I can't go back, can I?" Mia whispered, the truth crashing down around her like a wave. "You have to trust me," Alex said, urgency creeping into his voice. "If we stay, we lose everything." From the shadows, the stranger stepped into view, an ominous figure silhouetted against the horde of chaos. The grin still plastered across his face betrayed a confidence that sent chills racing through Mia. "We're going to find you, Mia. You can't escape the truth." Her blood ran cold. Was he really watching every move? A strange feeling gripped her, fear mingled with determination. They were out of time, and she could feel the ripples of fate pulling her one way or another. The game was on, and every second counted. With a forceful cough from the smoke surrounding them, Mia's eyes locked onto Alex. "What is my next move?" Just as she spoke, the world around her erupted again. The thunderous collapse of something massive rattled her bones. Did she have the strength to face whatever truth awaited her? The choice loomed as shadows danced dangerously close, darkness encroaching every thought she had. This was merely the calm before the storm, and she was in the eye of it. The chaos from the diner spilled out like a broken dam. Bullets flew and screams echoed, a symphony of fear that tore at Mia's resolve. She felt the cool night air against her skin, mixing with adrenaline, urging her to move. Breathing heavily, she turned to Alex. eyes wide, fueled by the urgency of their situation. "Where do we go?" Mia shouted above the din. Her heart felt like a wild drum in her chest, but there was no room for panic now. "We have to find a place to hide. Follow me," Alex yelled, grabbing her hand and pulling her down the street, away from the diner's lit ambience and into the shadows where danger lingered like an uninvited guest. Every step felt charged. She had never imagined her life would spin like this, teetering on the edge of calamity till a gunshot ripped through the night, and Mia flinched, adrenaline surging as she felt the tug of fear. "What about Jenna?" she gasped, feeling the pit of anxiety threaten to swallow her whole. "She'll be safe. We have to keep moving," Alex urged, leading her into a narrow alley, glancing back to make sure the coast was clear. Mia could see the fear etched on his face, fear, but also fierce determination. As they ran, her mind raced. It couldn't end like this. Not tonight. She had dreams now, a chance to create a life beyond the diner, beyond this heart-stopping chase. The ticket, the weight of it pressed in her pocket, like the anchor of her past. It would have to mean something, wouldn't it? They ducked behind a rusted dumpster, panting, shadows wrapping around them like a cloak of protection. Her skin prickled with awareness as voices drifted closer, shouts and anger rumbling in the night. The stranger was still out there, lurking in the shadows, waiting for the moment to pounce. "Mia," Alex pulled her closer, his voice urgent. "They need the ticket. It's their key to power." "What do you mean? Who are they?" Panic twisted her stomach. Did the shadows around them hide more danger than she understood? "Listen to me. There's a whole underworld tied to that ticket, a criminal network. They want to control it, and they'll stop at nothing to get it," he explained. Mia's heart sank. "So, it's not just about winning, it's about survival?" "Precisely. We need to use it against them, turn their own game back on them," Alex replied, eyes bright with urgency. The chilling laughter of the stranger echoed faintly. "You're still playing with fire, Mia? Some sins can't be absolved," it taunted from the dark, laughter wrapping around the alley like a shroud. Mia felt ice in her veins. "We have to figure out our next move. I won't let them take this from me." Her voice vibrated with certainty, raw determination igniting in her heart. Suddenly, a flicker of hope sparked. "The ticket, maybe it's not just a tool for them. Maybe it can set us free. If we turn it over, like a bargaining chip, we can negotiate." But even as she said it, doubt crept into the back of her mind. Could she really trust herself? Could she trust anyone? They crouched low, listening as footsteps grew distant. Alex caught her gaze, his expression fierce and courageous. "We can do this. Together." The weight of her struggles lightened, just a fraction. She realized that maybe she wasn't as alone as she felt. "You're right," she whispered fiercely. "This is our fight. Together. Together." A small word, yet colossal in its meaning. As they collected their thoughts, determination surged deep within her, an undeniable fire to reclaim her life. When the moment felt right, they slipped back into the night. The city stretched before them, looming and menacing, but they had each other. Armed with hope, a plan, and the ticket nestled in her pocket, they ventured into the unknown, ready to confront the shadows lurking behind every corner. Just then, as they made their way toward one last chance, Mia turned back toward the diner, dim lights flickering like a warning in the darkness. There was fear, yes, but also more than that. It was hope. "Mia," Alex pulled her attention back to reality. "Let us go?" "Right." She took a deep breath, steeling her resolve, the ticket, lighting the way toward their future. As they rounded the corner, the night whispered possibilities, full of danger, but teasing glimpses of power and freedom. Mia held her head high, because she was ready to face whatever came next, ready to break free from the chains of her past. They were no longer running. They were fighting back. This was her moment. This was the beginning of her true story. Hey there. This is the moment to show your support. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm and help us grow. And flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about Mia's next adventure. You need to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Don't wait even one more second to share. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions. Let us do this together.